Hi, my name is Jessie Quack, and I am the editor of the CROOKED series of sci-fi crime anthologies. I'll tell you a little bit more about the series at the end of this presentation, but today I want to present Erik Grove, who will be reading from Volume 2 of the series. Erik Grove is a writer, long-distance runner, and little dog wrangler living and doing things in Portland, Oregon. You can find his work in places like Escape Pod, the Space Cocaine Anthology series, the Zombies Need Brain Noir Anthology, and upcoming in Nightmare Magazine. You can follow him on Twitter or check out his webpage at erikgrove.com for dog glamour shots, marathon training nonsense, and sundry writer shenanigans. And just a quick note that Erik also runs the PDX Write Week newsletter, which is a fantastic resource if you happen to live in or near Portland, Oregon. So he gathers all the local readings, author events, and other writerly goings on, and then he sends them conveniently to your inbox every week. So you can find out more of that at erikgrove.com as well. All right, take it away, Erik.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I am reading Terminal Sunset, a moonshine hustle story. And again, like Jesse said, this is the same characters as the piece that I have in Noir. It's also the same characters as some other projects that hopefully I'll be able to announce sooner rather than later. All right. In a little under 4 hours, a solar storm would burn the surface of Zarin 19 up to 1500 degrees Kelvin. Hot enough to turn the streets and any poor fuckers still walking them to cinders and magma. All jobs had a timer, but this one had a doomsday clock. Hayden, over-caffeinated and well-armed, counted down every last second waiting for her contact in the already abandoned planet's capital. Like all good, shady business transactions, this one was intended to go down in an alley between two warehouses in an industrial wasteland that would be creepy even without the impending doom. She sweat puddles in her boots, sucked in dry, stale air that tasted like cooling vent exhaust, and imagined diving into a swimming pool full of whiskey and a million ice cubes. Splish, splash, glug, glug. Like a persistent twitch, Hayden's partner in bad ideas, Getty, text calmed every couple minutes. Anything? He's coming, Hayden replied, tap, tap, swipe on the holographic screen generated by the hollow ring on her, no, I'm not married, but I'll still punch you, hand. Think calming thoughts, money and get the fuck out of here thoughts. Getty texted, added an animated drooling cartoon mouth. Snowman orgy. To each her own. The heat burned Hayden's eyes even before the drips made it through her messy hair and eyebrows. Any other job like this, with this sort of margin and downside, 6 days a week and twice on Sundays, Hayden would pass. But with her back against the wall and no better choices, she'd just have to find a way to make it work. She bailed on this one, raced back to spaceship recycled air and cargo bay moonshine. Burton would make her dead in a month. His gun pressed against her back or someone else's. Hayden wouldn't know until the click and powder burn stink. Never a good idea to date your coworkers, but some boyfriends had more guns than others. With a chiming deep dupe alert, Hayden's sensor spike let her know something moved around the corner. Got something, Hayden sent to Getty. She put a hand on one of her pistols, Wild Bill crisscrossed with its twin slapping her other hip. Getty sent a little hollow face with clenched teeth. Accurate. The Zarin 19 sky was a haze of yellows and reds. It felt heavy and ready to ignite. The movement Hayden's sensor spike detected came into view, and Hayden, a half dozen coffees bubbling acid in her gut, drew her gun. Well? Getty wanted to know. Hayden's scoundrel grinned. It wasn't her contact. It was a mangy, panting dog with too much gray fur for the heat and a tail swishing like it had already half melted. Hayden took an image capture and sent it to Getty. A flood of hearts came back. Then, I love it. I will kill for doggy. Hayden crouched and put out a hand with curled in fingers. It's okay, she said. I'm not a bad guy. The dog shuffled closer until it could lick Hayden's hand. Rough tongue, hot and adorable. Thirsty? Hayden pulled a canteen from her bag of illicit job things set up against the wall of the alleyway. She opened the top and sniffed to confirm it wasn't booze, then poured some into the dog's eager mouth. Deep dupe from a different spike. Shit. By the time Hayden stood straight and turned, the bastard had a gun pointed at her. You're a real crazy bitch, the bastard said. Corpsec uniform, scruffy frog neck, call women that don't want a mustache ride lesbian eyes. Hayden's contact, Seeley. Hayden's new dog friend growled. Good instinct. She'd been called worse. You're fucking late, Hayden told him. Seeley holstered his peacemaker. Behind him, outside of Hayden's sensor spike radius, a grav bike that he must have ridden in on. Let's do this quick. If only. Hayden made a holographic data card with her glow ring, held it up, look-see. I've got my end. Prove it. He licked sweat off his lips. Hayden made a big enough hollow screen to show off all the incriminating evidence she had on the piece of shit squeezed into man-shaped skin. So much graft and petty bullying. Even with their low standards, it'd be enough for Corpsec to take away his big boy badge and lock Seeley in his small room for a long time. All cops are bastards. Evergreen. Seeley showed off his abnormally small teeth in a grimace. What's to say, I give you what you want, and you don't have copies still to fuck me over? This is one of those, I've got leverage on you, and you don't really have a choice situations, Hayden said. Seeley rolled that over in his mansplaining chill brain. Your friend Burton might like to know what you're up to, he finally said. So proud, like a toddler that managed to dookie in a vac toilet for the first time. Trust me, Hayden said. Burton's going to know. Up in the sky, one of the last evacuation ships streaked by trailing vapor, headed for a more hospitable climate. Seeley dug into his Corpsec trousers and came out with an encryption key. Little cylinder, smaller than a pinky, made for locks that Hayden couldn't hack. He tossed it and it landed, tink, tink, a couple boot steps from her. Hayden pocketed it and passed him her hollow artifact. The holographic card blinked and vanished into his ring with a video game sound. My tip? It's in there, Hayden told him. When she started trawling for Corpsec fuckers to blackmail, she found a lot more than Seeley. He skimmed through hollow panels, jowly, smiling with glee. Use it however you like. Hayden didn't expect Seeley would take the evidence and clean up Corpsec. He'd likely do something predictably selfish and corrupt, but burn them all anyway. The other thing, Hayden asked him. He nodded. Yeah, he said. I got it. Like we talked about. It's why I was late. Met your boyfriend across town. Hayden's nerves on a hot tin roof. He's here? Seeley chuckled. Trouble in paradise? He picked something from his little bitty teeth with a thumbnail. If I were you, I'd get a ride out of here as soon as I could. Thanks, Hayden told him. We're done. He strolled back to his grav bike, a little wave, then a fuck you finger, and rode off. Got the key, Hayden text-commed Getty. But we've got a problem. Burton's here. This is going to go the bad way. Okay, Getty calmed back. Okay, but what about the doggy, though? Sad dog eyes looked up at Hayden. Tail swish. Damn it. Hayden scooped the dog into her arms and moved. Tick-tock. The only good thing about racing against several lousy ways to die on a desolate planet? No traffic. Hayden pushed her grav skimmer, open-topped, skiff style, hard enough to shake bolts loose and make her new dog. A boy based on the anatomy that brushed against her arm while she carried him. Whimper. The job was a simple snatch and grab. Goods meant to go to one place went to another, with Zarin 19's upcoming Armageddon covering the tracks. A scam as old as larceny, the interesting party, gangsters, arranged for a ship carrying the goods. They wanted to land on the doomed planet. Real shame about the emergency repairs on that long-haul cargo ship. Then they promised Burton a good payday to intercept a carrier taking it off-world with Hayden, hacker extraordinaire, faking the records to make it look like someone fucked up and left it behind. The gangsters end up with their parcel and no one's the wiser. Hayden's double cross slipped right between the cracks. She found another buyer, different gangsters, willing to pay her enough for the goods to get out from under Burton's thumb and put a down payment down on her own ship. No more bosses, no more sleeping with one eye open. To do it, she needed to get to the package first. Burton was supposed to be waiting in orbit. He was supposed to drop a crew onto the carrier and find fuck all, while Hayden and Getty were halfway to another star system, clinking glasses. Instead, he was planetside. Motherfucker. If he did what he promised, Seeley gave Burton the wrong ship details and a key that wouldn't work. But if Burton was suspicious enough to change up the plan without telling Hayden, he'd see through that ruse in no time. She brought up a holographic interface with her glow ring, sent some of her digital virus friends at the planet's network. Hacking and driving, an advanced maneuver. How are we doing on a ride out of here? Hayden calmed Getty. Working on it, Getty replied. What are we going to name Doggy? The dog peed on Hayden's boot and tucked his tail between his legs. Relatable. Asshole, Hayden replied. I like it. A lot of the planet's network security split with the higher-ups days ago. What they left behind was, lucky for Hayden's clock, rudimentary and easily hacked. She searched for Burton's glow ring sig, not found. He must have it routed through an off-world ghost network. Hayden taught him that trick. She checked his favorite goons, Kimber and Ramble. Kimber pinged in orbit, probably on the ship, but Ramble popped up over at the north side cargo yards within shooting distance of the faked manifest Seeley passed off. Hayden figured they'd bash their way through the lock and find a cargo container full of glitchy sex bots. Those were meant to be Hayden's not so passive aggressive Dear John letter, while she and Getty made space tracks. Oh well, half of survival was improv. Hayden landed her grab skimmer in an east side yard in the only big enough shadow she could find. She could get a closer spot, but it'd be plain view, and Hayden preferred the chance of avoiding notice to an extra 20-meter dash. The spot was against a power relay station that kicked out extra heat for good measure. She initiated a sweep for stray glow ring SIGs, anyone taking a walk with a gun between Hayden and her prize. The sweep came back quick. Everyone with unboiled gray matter was as far away as possible already. Hint, hint. Hayden set up an automated daemon to keep an eye out for glow rings moving in closer and one on Ramble's SIG, then hopped over the side of the grav skimmer. Ride needs to be good to go in an hour, she calmed Getty when her boots hit the softened asphalt. Then she sent 1 hour in all caps. Running like that with the sun beating down, bouncing back up from the blacktop, hot like dizzy, an afternoon in the furnace, sprinting across a frying pan. Her mouth tasted salty with a parched metallic chaser. Quick temperature check. Melting Hayden cartoon. Fun times. Getty replied with a cartoon iced glass of something brown. Thank you.
Hey, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that reading. So I promised I'd tell you a little bit more about Crooked, and here we are. So what Crooked is a series of sci-fi crime anthologies that are edited by me. And the thing that sets this anthology series apart is that it exclusively focuses on including stories that are part of a bigger universe. So if you read one story by an author, say if you really enjoyed what you just heard, you can go to that author's site, which will be below in the show notes, and you can read more stories set in that universe. So the idea is to give readers kind of more of what they love and introduce them to other authors. So for example, if you're a big fan of one person's universe and you find, oh, they've got a story in Crooked, you can go read that story, and then you might find other stories by similar authors, and then you can go read their world. So kind of just a way of helping readers explore and find more authors that they love. And so if you enjoyed what you heard, please go support that author. Follow the links below. You can go buy the anthology and read more stories, or listen to more of the presentations of people reading excerpts from their stories on this YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe there. And I look forward to bringing you more exciting sci-fi crime stories. Take care out there.